A couple have claimed that social workers have pressured them to let their 14-year-old daughter use a boy's name as a step towards changing her gender. The couple claim the council is pushing the transgender issue and they fear that the girl may be taken into care if they do not comply. And the council got involved after the couple said their daughter had started self-harming and tried to run away. So, Jane, what would you do in this situation?
Gosh, it's when you read it, it's such a complex case, and of course, because they're anonymous, you don't sort of have the full backstory. But I mean, as you say, she ran away, and I think she came to the attention of the authorities. Now, the authorities' argument is that they should start the process towards giving her what she seems to want, which is to become a boy. The parents, who are described as having very traditional Christian values, don't want that. They're also saying that they think she has mental health issues. So this is how it's going forward. And, you know, this is a classic case, again, of the state intervening with parental responsibility. But you could also argue that sometimes that is necessary. And I think back in the mid-80s, there was a woman called Victoria Gillick who went to court because her daughter was prescribed contraception that she didn't know about. And it became known as the Gillick competence. So it's like a broader thing now that experts decide whether a child sort of from 14, under 16, is able to make decisions, is mature enough to make decisions about their own medical treatment. And it's also become broader in that as the child gets older, your parental authority diminishes because they're sort of saying, well, this child can make decisions for themselves. So I think that's kind of what's happening here. But it's very, very tricky because there's a really good piece in the Mail today, Julie Bindel, who is founder of Justice for Women, and she's a lesbian, and she's saying that when she was young, you know, they were sort of packed off to the doctors, and she sort of worries that this is another version of this, because this girl has formed a close friendship with a 13-year-old girl, and she's saying maybe she's a lesbian, and maybe this is just their version of sort of packing her off. Why can't she just be a lesbian? Or
well, because the girl herself wants to be called by a boy's name. She wants to dress in boys' clothes.
It's so hard.
But it's difficult, isn't it? Because in adolescence, I just want to read out this one as well, and from this article, the World Association for Transgender Health, so they're, you know, big authority, say the majority of children with gender identity disorder grow out of it by adolescence, with most going on to be lesbian or gay.
Do you know what? It's so hard. I feel like at a certain age, children should 100% have a right to say something and a right to change their own lives. But I feel sorry for the parents, only in a sense that it seems to me that these two parents obviously don't want to let go of their child and are having emotional difficulties trying to get over the process, which is a natural, normal process that this child is going through, and they're having trouble accepting it. And I know that my dad, although he's the most loving, kind, unbelievable father, would definitely take a long time to actually digest what's happening and be able to relate to me if it was happening, if I was going through those emotions and those feelings. So sometimes I feel that the parents are neglected in a sense, and they also need psychological help and some
counselling. It depends if it's because they're struggling to come to terms with it because it's their little girl that they don't want to let go of. Or for me, it depends if they've got those views because of their devout Christianity.
It's hard because
in which case counselling isn't going to change their minds,
I feel really lucky to be born at this time in humanity. I feel like I'm given a chance to be very open-minded about everything, to accept everyone for who they are, and I feel very, very privileged for that. My dad didn't have the same upbringing as me. He was conditioned by society in a completely different way. So you do have to deal with that conditioning that's gone on for years and years and years.
I mean, what I do wonder, though, is that, say, for example, in this case, she's allowed to change her name, she, you know, starts dressing as a boy, goes to school as a boy, etc. No one's advocating any surgery or anything at this point, quite rightly. But if later on in life she suddenly says, well, I didn't actually want to be a boy, and I'm actually now realise I'm a lesbian, and I feel aggrieved that the authorities made me do this, could she then sue? I mean, it's so complicated. But we've had some, you know, fascinating emails on this. And Aaron, he says, as someone who transitioned when they were 15, I wish I'd done it earlier. I knew I was male from a young age. If I hadn't had my name and pronouns changed, I honestly don't think that I would be here today. For the sake of this child, please just use their preferred name and pronouns. You have no idea of the effect it will have on their mental health.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If you've enjoyed that, then why not click here for more? And don't forget to subscribe by clicking here so that you never miss out on the best Loose Women moments.